friends, welcome to today's activity. We have been reading all about the gingerbread man and the story behind it, but there are actually a lot of gingerbread man books. There's the gingerbread girl, there's the gingerbread baby, which we're actually going to read right now. So follow along as we read our book today. The Gingerbread Baby by Jan Brett. It was cold outside. It was warm inside. A fine day for gingerbread, Maddie thought. Maddie's mother put a big blue bowl on the table and lit the stove. Maddie took down the worn-looking cookbook with old-fashioned writing on the cover. He opened it up to the page that said Gingerbread Boy. They measured and mixed. Maddie rolled the dough into a shape of a gingerbread boy, and they popped into the oven. Bake a full 8 minutes, no more, no less. Do not peek, the recipe read. Maddie listened to the clock. Tick, tock, tick. 1 minute, 2 minutes, 3, 4, 5. Maddie couldn't wait any longer. He opened the oven door to take a peek. Instead of a gingerbread boy, out jumped a gingerbread baby. He pranced around the big blue bowl. I am the gingerbread baby, fresh from the pan. If you want me, catch me if you can. Maddie's mother reached for the gingerbread baby to put him back into the oven, but he ran all around the kitchen. The door opened and in came Maddie's father. What's that delicious smell? He asked as the gingerbread baby tumbled through his legs and out into the yard. He ran by the tabby cat. She twitched her tail and sprang at him. They rumbled and tumbled, but the gingerbread baby came out on top. He ran towards the garden wall. The dog caught a whiff of the tasty ginger and sniffed along behind him. But the gingerbread baby was halfway up when the dog caught up. He barked and barked as the gingerbread baby climbed over the wall. Maddie was still inside. He heard his mother and father yelling. He heard a cat meowing and a dog barking. And he heard the gingerbread baby shouting, "Catch me if you can!" Maddie opened up the worn-looking cookbook for a second time. Meanwhile, the gingerbread baby wheeled on down the path and into the barn. The goats looked up as he somersaulted across their backs. The last one tried to catch him, but the gingerbread baby was too fast. Martha and Madeline were standing by the well when the gingerbread baby stopped to take a drink. They looked at each other and winked. Martha started to talk to him while Madeline tiptoed up behind him with the bucket. But they couldn't fool that gingerbread baby. He took a braid from Martha and a braid from Madeline and tied them in a knot and ran down the road. Back at the house, Maddie stirred, mixed, and rolled the dough. He shaped it and put it in a pan and into the oven. Tick-tock, tick. 8 long minutes. This time, he didn't peek. I will catch him if I can, Maddie said to himself. As he was bouncing along, the gingerbread baby saw a farm wagon just ahead. He jumped in and settled down for the ride next to a mama pig. The smell of the gingerbread was too much for her. She tossed him high into the air, closed her eyes, and opened her mouth. But the gingerbread baby twisted in the air and came down hard on her porky snout. I am the gingerbread baby, too quick for the mother and the father, too fast for the cat, the dog, the goats, too clever for Martha and Madeline, too smart for the mama pig. Who's left? Catch me if you can. Feeling smug, the gingerbread baby strolled along by himself until he came to a bridge that crossed over to the village. Just as he got to the middle, he heard running feet behind him and saw a crowd of villagers ahead of him. The gingerbread baby was trapped. He jumped onto the railing, backflipped through the air, and landed on a chunk of ice floating down the river. The ice bobbed along with the gingerbread baby dancing on top and singing in a loud voice, "Look at me! And what do you see? The best gingerbread baby ever!" Until his feet got cold and he jumped ashore. Who was that watching from the trees? It was the fox. He crept up behind the gingerbread baby, ready to eat him up. But the fox couldn't help himself, and he licked his chops. Smack, smack! The gingerbread baby heard him and ran as fast as he could. Just when the fox was catching up, the gingerbread baby saw the milk and cheese man with the can of milk. The perfect hiding place, he thought. He lifted the lid and lowered himself inside. He was so pleased that he sang at the top of his gingerbread voice, "Ha ha, hee hee, you'll never find me. I'm the gingerbread baby, catch me if you can." The milk and cheese man heard the gingerbread baby's voice. "Who is meddling with my milk?" he shouted, and he lifted the lid. But the gingerbread baby was ready. He jumped up and tweaked his nose. Now the milk and cheese man, the fox, the villagers, the mama pig, Martha and Madeline, the bleating goats, the barking dog, the meowing cat, the father and the mother were all after the gingerbread baby and getting closer, and he knew it. The brash baby was not as peppy and proud as he had been. He sniffed a familiar smell and followed his nose into the woods. He couldn't believe what he saw. There in the middle of a clearing was a gingerbread house, frosted with sugar, covered with candy, and doors with peppermint handles, wide open. The gingerbread baby clapped his hands with glee and ran inside. In a tick-tock-tick, everyone arrived in the clearing, but all they found were a few bits of frosting, a peppermint candy, and some crumbs. The father exclaimed, "The gingerbread baby has finally met his match." "I wonder who it was," the mother said. "Let's go home and tell Maddie." "Hello, Maddie," his father said when they got home. "We never did catch the gingerbread baby. All we found were some crumbs in the snow." "I see you have been busy," his mother said, looking at the gingerbread house Maddie was holding. "Too bad we never caught that gingerbread baby." "Too bad," said Maddie. Only Maddie could hear the tiny voice from inside the gingerbread house. "I'm the little gingerbread baby, lucky as can be, to be living in the house that Maddie made for me." Now that you've read The Gingerbread Man and The Gingerbread Baby, we're going to go ahead and compare and see what's same or what's different within both of these books. So let's go ahead and get started. You're going to need a piece of paper and something to write with. I'm going to use my whiteboard so that it's easier for you to see, and I'm also going to use my whiteboard markers. To start, you're going to need two shapes. Both of them are going to be circles. So you're going to go ahead and take your crayon or your marker, and you're going to make two circles on your whiteboard. Up and around. There's one, and then you're going to make one more over here, but it's going to go inside of the other circle. Up and around. Okay, now that you have two circles, figure out what circle is going to be your baby and what circle is going to be your gingerbread man. So I'm going to make this circle my baby, and I'm going to make my little gingerbread man here. This one's going to be my baby, gingerbread baby, baby. And then this one's going to be my man. And I'm going to make this one bigger. 1, 2, 3. I'm going to have my baby have like a little pacifier here. Baby. And this one is my man. Okay, my man and my baby. So here comes the thinking part and the fun part as well, because we're going to think back to our stories and figure out what was different. So things that were not the same in the gingerbread man and the gingerbread Baby. So what we've made today is called a Venn diagram. So these are what's going to be different. All of our gingerbread man are going to go in here, and our gingerbread baby is going to go in here. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and finish my Venn diagram, and you finish your Venn diagram and put what you think is same in the center, in the middle of your circles, or put what is different, things that weren't in the gingerbread man that were in the gingerbread baby, and vice versa. You might have to have a grown-up help you with this because it can be a little tricky, but go ahead and draw your characters and I'll see you back here in a minute. Alrighty, so I finished my Venn diagram, so we can talk about it just for a couple minutes, and let's see what we got the same and what we got different. In my gingerbread baby, Maddie was one of the main characters. That means he was very important. Also, here's my little baby. We have a cat, a dog. We have Martha and Madeline. We also have the goats. All of the all of the villagers, and we also have that the gingerbread baby was caught and lives in the house. In the gingerbread man, we know that there's a horse. Here's my gingerbread man. We know that he gets stuck in the river and that he gets eaten by the fox. What we know that's both in the stories is that there is an old woman and old man, that there's a fox in both stories, that there's a pig in both stories, and that the song or the run as fast as you can't catch me, I'm the gingerbread man is in both stories. Alrighty, friends, thanks for making a Venn diagram with me and comparing and seeing what was same and different between both books. Bye.